Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. Thank you, Sister Suzette, for sharing this particular story with me because I find it very interesting how just out of the blue Meghan comes into the royal family. That seems to be something that was very, very planned and orchestrated. And now we may understand better why that has taken place. According to CNN, the story that was shared with me, Meghan and Harry, the royal family, part of the royal family, they are considering setting up their throne, as Sister Suzette calls it, in Africa. They are considering moving to Africa after their baby is born. Okay. I find that very interesting. Very, very interesting. And so then that may explain why he chose Meghan, okay, so that this move can make sense. Understand that this is a chess move. All of this stuff is not by mistake. He didn't just find Meghan one day and say, "Oh, let me marry this gorgeous girl." Although Meghan is mixed race, you know how most of the world thinks if there's any black ancestry or a black parent, they call you black. I'm not going to get off into that again as far as what I think on that or what I believe on that, but that is far from the truth. If you have one black parent and one white parent, that does not make you black. That is a rule that was forced on us, and we have accepted it, and that is utter nonsense. But anyway, this is how they actually etch their way into areas and countries and continents to kind of set up shop and take over and things of that nature, you know. But I thought it was very interesting to get this story. But again, to me, it makes sense as to why he chose a partially melanated woman for his wife. I noticed the article said something about their work on the continent, their work. Now, when you hear those words, people think, oh, they're going to go there and do some things to help the people of Africa. It's never about helping the people of Africa. Now, they may do a little charitable work here and there, something that most people will grin and snicker over. But it's nothing that's usually meant to change the overall lifestyle of the people of Africa. They always throw like kibbles and bits or little pieces of junk food, a little treat here and there, just something small, just to keep the people off their back, just so that the world stage can say, oh, look at what they did here. They built a clinic. Oh, they built a school. When you understand what happens in their clinics and their schools, you wouldn't be so flabbergasted by those types of gifts, you see. Now, if you tell me that they built housing, and they just gave the housing to the people, or they donated 10,000 heads of cattle and started a farm, or gave them all of the equipment for a farm that was completely ran and operated by the people of the region and even owned by them. To me, that's charity. But when you go and you set up a hospital, or you set up a school, to me, the school represents indoctrination, and the hospital represents vaccines to where they can inject you with all kinds of mess and send in their tainted medication. That's what those things represent. But real charity, in my opinion, is when you give something to the people that's tangible for them that they could use for themselves, but they don't need you afterward. You see, but our people have been tricked yet again. The people of Africa, I don't mean to sound insulting at all, but understand that we have the same message for our people here in the diaspora as well, that we are too easily manipulated and maneuvered by these other nations. People who have a historical pattern of mistreatment and abuse of melanated people. And somehow we think that they mean us some good. That is just confusing to me, that we are so simple-minded as a people worldwide to fall for these tricks time after time. Meghan is just the face that they needed to get them in the place. Okay, it's easier for them to scoot in there and do whatever it is Harry and Meghan are about to do by saying, oh, this partially melanated woman is his wife, so they couldn't possibly mean us any harm. Well, know for certainty that Meghan's mom probably didn't raise her to have a big heart for Africans. Okay, she was married to a white man, had this mixed child, and I doubt very seriously if she was raised to think and believe that her goal should be to help and to be a blessing to the people of the continent. I doubt very seriously if that was instilled in her. Okay, and even being married to Prince Harry, I doubt very seriously if they have good intentions for the people of Africa. On the surface, it may appear that way. On the surface, meaning they do everything they can to mask their real goal or agenda. And it usually works for the masses, okay? Because most people are just dumbed down to the point where whatever is printed, whatever is spoken, that is what they believe. But as people around the world begin to wake up, you will see and always understand that anytime someone is trying to set up shop in Africa, they are after something. And you can best believe that it's not something geared towards helping the people of Africa. I mean, for goodness sake, you have organizations in Africa like the AU who are not even there to help the people of Africa. But yet they're trying to skim money off of people in the diaspora. And those in the diaspora are so eager to be a part of what's going on in the continent that they were falling for it. A lot of people have pulled back from that, but you still have a lot of people who just can't wait to send money to the AU, who believes that they have our best interests at heart as they build their Wakanda village, in which, to me, it was very clear it wasn't being built for us. But again, because we are so easily manipulated and tricked, this is what we believe and this is what we accept. And therefore, here we are. Everyone is always playing chess moves on Africa. Everyone is moving about on the board while the people of Africa sit on the sidelines waiting for something tangible for themselves. Now, I have nothing but love for the people of Africa. From time to time, I do get some who come on my channel when I'm talking about subjects concerning Africa. I do get some Africans come on my channel just pretty infuriated and upset and saying all kinds of things, just like people here in the U.S., because you think that if we have anything negative to say about Africa, that is an insult to you. Well, that's not a personal insult to you. It is what it is when we see right before our eyes the corruption in Africa, the wickedness in Africa, the kowtowing, the worship of the white man. All of this we see with our own eyes. And so if you get offended because we are talking about these issues, so be it. It is what it is. We talk about the issues here in the U.S. as well and around the world. And so people have got to learn how to get out of their feelings when it comes to someone talking about your region. I was born in St. Louis, okay? But when I hear someone talk about St. Louis, I don't take offense and get offended because someone talks about St. Louis in a negative way. I was raised in Detroit, Michigan. I don't get all upset and in my feelings because someone starts to talk about Detroit. It is what it is. You see, it's just funny to me how people get so upset when you're starting to spill the truth about an area that they live in or were born in or whatever. I think the truth should be spoken regardless to who gets offended by it. Because that's the way that people are going to know and understand what's taking place in this world, as if the light is shined on it. And again, Harry and Meghan are considering, they did say considering, coming to Africa after their child is born. But you can best believe that it's not for the benefit of the African people. And with that, family, I will say, I love you, as always, and shalom.